sounds like you guys, if you've been doing the Mobile Pro trial, you're probably pretty familiar with the mobile app as a whole. But it sounds like some gaps are just kind of what's covered in Mobile Plus, and then kind of showing that D2D functionality. Is there anything else in mobile that you want me to cover? Do you want me to give you like a high level demo to make sure you're using all the functionalities? You guys tell me. I want to make sure this time is useful for you.
So Dr. Kalpis used the ambient for roughly a month. We had a number of other providers that had access to it, didn't really utilize it when they had the trial for it. Yeah, so as high level as you can would be excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will start kind of going through some of the mobile functionalities, and I can show you D2D really easily. It's an easy thing to show. But if there's something that I'm kind of being too repetitive on, or you already know, I work with surgeons. You won't hurt my feelings. You can tell me to skip it. Okay, just interrupt me. I am going to turn my camera off, hoping that Teams won't lag on me too much. Hoping that helps. But here, are you guys logged in? Are you following along on your side too?
Yeah, except I don't have that D2D button anymore.
Okay, if you have Mobile Plus, we should have that. So
I have ambient, dictate, and notes.
Oh, are you in the hub?
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, I don't even have that at all. When I go to the patient, then I get that.
Yep. So if you're in the patient screen, I want you to come out of it. So for example, here I am in a patient screen. My bottom buttons are going to be different. You're in a chart. So I want you to come back out of it and come out to your schedule. And instead of being on schedule, I want you to come down here to hub.
Okay.
All right. Now, does your screen look like mine?
Except I don't have any patients scheduled today.
Do you have patients on your schedule today?
I do not.
Okay, so then that's accurate then. But do you see that D2D button now?
No.
See, that should be here if you have Mobile Plus. Peyton, do you mind looking and verifying this for us?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I can reach out to support and see what's going
on
there.
Thank you. Yeah, let's check in on that. Because if you have Mobile Plus, you should have that D2D. That's where it lives. But let's see what's going on there. But we'll pause on that for now, and I'll show you some of the other functionalities while she's checking on that for us. I do like to point out this button up here in the top right where it says new. If you open that screen, down here you're going to say view or see view training videos. If there is anything that I show you today and you forget kind of the workflow or how to do it, you can always come here and watch these videos. One of my colleagues makes them, and they are all like 30 seconds to a minute. They are very short, to the point, and I think very helpful. So if there's something you're going, oh shoot, I forgot how to, use that dictate functionality or how to make a macro or what have you, there should be a video here to show you how to do it. Okay. But to get back out of that, you just hit this skip button up here and it'll take you back to that hub screen. Here you have your search functionality up here at the top. So this is where you can go if you need to pull up a patient's chart. So if you need to search for a patient, I think the great functionality of this is if you're on call or trying to access a patient's chart when you're not in clinic, you don't have to pull out your laptop, you can pull it out right on your phone. Look like Michael Jackson, don't it? If you go here, my screen might look a little bit different than yours. That's just how I've got mine set up. But your settings are available here, and you can pick and choose what you want to have visible for you in that hub screen. But right now, I have mine set up where I can see my PAQ, my refill requests, and my tasks. And so you should still have access to all of that, with your tier of mobile. If I come down here to schedule, this is where you should see your schedule. I have myself selected as a resource here, so I'm seeing my own schedule. If you wanted to see someone else's schedule in your office, if you guys, I don't know, in my practice, for example, I'm a PA, I work with my supervising surgeons. If I need to grab one of them because I need a biopsy or what have you, and I want to see what their schedule looks like, I can pop up here, go to my resources, and I can add an additional person on here. Let's see, we'll add Alan East. Let's see what they've got going on. They might not have anything. But you can see it here. If they did, they're going to be red. So they have a 10 o'clock. Me, Katie Shields, I'm green now. And so I can tell who is who. And it's really easy to get them back off my schedule. I just click that X. All right. Then as you're coming down here, I do like to point out here that you do have patient tracking. So anything that is going into the desktop EHR is going to be reflected real time in the mobile app. So if your support staff is putting in, where your patients are, for example, Miss Chelsea Hodges here, ready for provider room 1, as long as they're updating that location in the desktop, that is going to present to you here in the mobile as well. You won't have this patient summary there. That is available with Mobile Pro. So that's the next tier up. I don't know if you utilize that functionality at all during the trial.
I did, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to be honest. I think right now it's at a pretty basic function. I'll pop into it really quickly because you have these 3 functionalities for your summary. Here at the bottom, we have this chat box. And next month, we're pulling this lock off of it so that providers can actually query information. So you can say, when was my patient's last mammogram? When did she last get a right knee injection? When did I switch her hypertension medication? You're actually going to be able to use this as like a search engine into your patient's chart without having to pull that individual documentation. But that's only with the Mobile Pro. So if I turn it off, this should be what you're seeing, this space sheet here when you go into the chart.
Okay.
Is that what it's looking like for you? Do you see that in your patient chart? Or you might not have one since you don't have it.
Let's see. Yeah, pretty similar to that, yeah.
Yep. So this is an easy way to also review. This is like a more traditional way to review your patient's chart before you go in to see them. So you have your last HPIs, you have your medications, your allergies, vitals, all of that's going to be here available for your review. And then you're going to have your docs and images over here, and that's going to be the categories that you have in EHR. So if you're wanting to review any of that before you go into the patient's room, that's all going to be available for review as well. Are you with me so far? Does this all seem pretty familiar?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Just a curiosity question. How helpful did you find that patient summary, the AI generated one?
It wasn't really helpful.
That's what I feel like the search engine functionality is going to be a lot more helpful than just that like quick little overview. Because I think otherwise, personally, I think I use my assessment plan from the last visit more. But I'm interested to see how that search functionality.
Yeah.
That. Then in today's visit, your screen looks probably a little bit different because this is probably turned off, but you were using ambient before. You should still have access to this dictate with Mobile Plus. Is that turned on for you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So if I pop in over here, did you use any of that dictate functionality during your Mobile Pro trial?
No, I did not.
You did not?
No.
Okay. If you're wanting to dictate, and it sounds like that's a possibility, especially if we're talking about D2D, this is an area where there's an additional option to dictate. So if you come into here, you have each of these sections here, and you can click, HPI or physical exam or what have you, and click this microphone down here and start to dictate. You're also going to have this copy forward functionality. So the copy forward functionality, this is going to pull forward any prior dictation. It's not going to pull forward any of your prior templates. But if you've dictated any information on this patient previously, it's going to pull that forward. Or you have the option to. So if I come in here, I'm going to have copy forward. Here are some previous HPIs I have for this patient. If I go into physical exam and I want to copy forward a previous physical exam, I have these. So you can mix and match from different visits. So if I want my physical exam from last visit, but my HPI from 4 visits ago, because that was her routine physical, I can absolutely go through and mix and match. You're also going to have the ability to insert macros here. And so I have a few physical exam macros that I can insert here. And if you want to make your own macros, you can do that here in SOAP settings up here at the top. You have the ability to create your macros. And since you're not using ambient, you would just leave that off. It would be one that you would select in that dictate screen. So are you currently dictating, or are you currently using templates?
I don't dictate now.
Okay. Are you interested in dictating? Is that why we're showing you the D2D? Is that the idea?
I mean, if I wanted to find out what the D2D was, since we're paying for it, if we're not using it, then
Yeah, absolutely. So D2D is kind of that more traditional dictation functionality. That's going to be speech to text kind of transcription, where it's like a point and click, almost like, similar workflow to like a Dragon. So here, if I have my EHR screen up, anywhere there's a narrative space, I can click, point, and dictate into it. And I use my phone as the microphone. Let me see.
okay, yeah, I think this would be more helpful than the regular dictation, because then we can get it into the right spot next time.
You think it would be helpful? Is that what you're saying?
More helpful, yeah, because
Okay.
otherwise, just the regular dictation, then you have to copy and paste it into the right spot. I didn't know this was actually a functionality we had.
Absolutely, but hold tight for me, because what you said something that got my interest there. You should not have to copy and paste anything with NextGen as far as like ambient or the dictation. That should all be mapped back into those narrative fields for you. Other AI technologies, if you're utilizing those, you do have to copy and paste, but that's kind of the perk of NextGen, like using our app with our EHR.
So it maps into the SOAP?
It should all flow in. So like here, let me do a quick little dictation. Patient presents for routine follow-up, period. She has a history of hypertension, period. Her A1C at her last visit was below 7%, period. She's concerned she may have diabetes because of her family history, period. And then I come up here, I click send to EHR. I'm not a great dictation person. I don't do that in my normal day-to-day, so don't don't judge it too heavily. Let me get it over here. Let me get it all refreshed for me. Sorry, I'm working with too many screens here. So it flows in here to my HPI. And so you do not have to, I know it's kind of confusing, this narrative notes panel here, you do not have to copy and paste that down here to this reason for visit. Whenever I generate a master note, it's going to all land in the right place. So if you want to do like some documentation there in the dictation fields and some in the templates, it will all marry together at the end. So here under my HPI, it flows right here. If I had anything in the template, it goes template and then that dictation directly underneath it. So there shouldn't be any copying and pasting. It should all flow in on that master document where it belongs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't believe you.
Okay.
So
if that's not what's happening,
this
then
goes into IMO.
I'm sorry.
This goes into the IMO.
So what do you mean by that?
The assessment and plan. We use IMO where we pick our ICD-10 codes, and that's where I do all my documentation is in through IMO.
So I'm not as familiar with that workflow. I know, like, if you're adding diagnosis codes from here, it's going to be you're using IMO.
Yeah, I don't do it through there. I do it through IMO in desktop.
I know some entities have like a separate IMO like extension. So I can check into that. If you can give me some more specifics about it, I can ask specifically what you guys have set up and how it would function. But if your like HPI and physical exam, all of that's not flowing, whenever you hit that.
No, none of this was set up. None of this was set up. None of my IT team knows anything about this. So it's just a total waste of money because no one's using it. And we're paying for it. So no one knows anything about this.
It should be, I mean, if it's not flowing to those fields, then there's some technical error, because I mean, that's how it's designed to flow.
Yeah, this was never set up.
So whenever you're using ambient for the trial, where was stuff flowing?
it would just kind of copy and paste it into the master IM, but it wouldn't go into the template.
Right, so it does not go into the template, right?
Correct.
Well, that's what I just showed you, right? So if I'm here in SOAP, it goes separate. It goes into these narrative panels instead of the template. So here under narrative notes, it's like a separate dictation area.
I got
So-
you, but that's not what we need. We need it into the templates in IMO. Where's
Okay.
this assessment going to go? Because it has to be by the ICD-10 code, right? So if it's just like an assessment block like this, it's not helping.
So if you're going to have let me see. Do you mind doing a quick little ambient encounter with me really quick?
Sure,
Do you want to be my doctor?
sure.
Okay.
What brings you in today?
Hey, I'm here. I've had a sore throat for 3 days.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it?
More annoying than anything, probably like a 7. Feels like I'm swallowing glass whenever I eat or drink anything.
Do you have any nausea, vomiting, fevers, or chills?
I had a fever of 100.7 last night. I took Tylenol, it got better, but no other symptoms.
Gotcha. Have you taken a COVID test or any other tests like that?
No, my daughter came home from daycare last week though, and she had strep, so I think I might have caught that.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to take a look at your throat. Oh, okay. I see some enlarged tonsils and some white exudate.
Okay, so on exam today, some tonsillar erythema and exudate. It looks like, I pulled that MA. Yep, it looks in my MA, ran a strep test and it came back positive. So I think that you might have strep throat. I'm going to call in amoxicillin 500 milligrams BID for 7 days. If you're not better within 48 hours, give me a call. Sorry to take over. I just wanted to do a really quick encounter. I don't want to waste your time doing that. You know how to be a doctor. I just want to see where it all flows and make sure that in the final note, we're all kind of talking about the same thing here. So I pulled in that physical exam. I just wanted to make sure that someone had shown you that functionality too. Were you using any ambient macros when you were doing the
No.
pro trial? I'm sorry?
I was not, no.
Okay. Did someone show you how to use them?
Possibly, but I just never had time to set them up.
Yeah, I understand. It's kind of like a big obstacle to get things set up, but I just like to point out there are a couple different ways you can do macros. So for example, this one is I have this set up as a physical exam and it's an everything under the exam, right? If you're in your normal day-to-day, you would probably have more granular physical exam set up. I just like it to have something to pull through during demos. You'll see here when I said on exam, everything is normal except it pulls in your normal physical exam, but then I said except these things, tonsillar, erythema, exudate, and enlargement noted. So it pulled all of those abnormals in, and the rest of it pulled in normal. So you just have to have a trigger phrase for that macro, which mine was on exam, okay?
Mhm.
So when it's gonna pull in all the other information that we talked about, let me send it to EHR here. Get stuff. One other thing, so if you come through here, my diagnosis codes, let me add a couple. Ambient suggested back that strep throat, fever, my history of hypertension, because I talked about that when I dictated. I'll add all of those in. But you have your popular, your previous, and you can search IMO for additional diagnosis codes if it's not pulling what you want. You can add orders, medications, charges, all of that's there. But actually, I want to pull it in a few diagnosis codes just to show you how it all generates here. Close my SOAP and reopen and see if it all flows through. So now, here you can see my screen. Here's my narrative notes panel. That is information that I dictated at the beginning, routine follow-up, hypertension, A1C at last visit, 7%. She's concerned about diabetes because of family history. That all comes up here at the top, and anything ambient captures goes right underneath it, okay? So all of this is gonna pull through as narrative because it's dictation. It does not pull through on your templates down here. So they're separate, But if you put something in on the template and there's something in up here in the narrative notes panel, it's all going to combine together on that master document. So let me generate another master and kind of, because you'll see here, it pulls in these ICD-10 codes for me.
Right, but I need the documentation under
Yeah.
each code, you know, it just matches it all together.
Well, hold tight for me and you tell me, because you know this more than I do. You know what you need more than I do. But I'm interested to see, because what I've heard from a billing perspective is that this will work. Let me show you. So you have all of your ICD-10 codes and then your plan directly underneath it. From what I have heard from billing is that this is totally reasonable as long as they're all here and that entire plan is right underneath it. And with that AI tool capturing the additional information, the documentation has been stronger and helped meet more criteria for those codes.
I mean, if you can convince my billing team, sure.
I'd already told you I am a PA. I am certainly no biller. This is just what I hear, feedback that I hear. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to
They
keep
were
the
giving
lights
me a
on
hard time if I didn't click the chronic button in the assessment and plan. So, I mean,
yeah, it's all going to come down to how the documentation flows. I just want to make sure that
so the regular dictation is going to just flow exactly like this.
Yep, sure is. It's all going to flow into those narrative notes panels. And then it's, like here's that one that I did right here. And then that ambient goes right underneath it. But your workflow does not have to change from if you're documenting your assessment and plan specifically in a different template and you want to keep doing it that way, you absolutely can. And you can use that D2D functionality. We just have to make sure it's turned on for you or that you have access to it. But to do that, all I do is I come here and I have mobile D2D right here. Basically, looks like I got it turned on. Yep, we're connected. So anywhere there's like a narrative field, if I have my D2D pulled up here, good to go. I can dictate into any open field, period.
So wait, say that again. This is D2D now.
Yep.
So can you dictate into the template?
You can dictate anywhere there is like where you can point and click. So anywhere there's like a narrative fields section, like let me see, let me open up a template here. For like point and clicks, you can't, but you should be able to anywhere that you're like having a text box, anywhere that you're typing. So
okay. So this would be more useful.
And so this is also going to be something I just learned this. So I'm on an RDP here, remote desktop. So I can't utilize my D2D on anything other than my EHR. But if your desktop has both your EHR in like email or Microsoft Word, which for most people it does, you can use the D2D to actually also dictate emails and that sort of thing, if that's helpful for you.
I mean, I'm not particularly concerned about that piece. If I can just get providers to dictate into the templates, that's what I need.
Yeah, they can dictate as long, and they can dictate straight.
So how does this work?
ROS, any of this, they can dictate straight into anywhere you can point and click. They should and type. You should be able to dictate into.
And so they have to pull up the encounter still through NextGen Mobile, and then click that D2D button. Is that right?
They don't even have to open the. Oh, sorry, my cell phone's not on the screen anymore.
So they don't need to be in the
hub, and they need to hit D2D. And then it pairs with Bluetooth to the desktop, and then your cell phone becomes your microphone.
Pairs with Bluetooth, so we don't have that set up.
Yeah, so we'll have to get someone to help you get set up.
I've reached out to your account manager, and let's see, she actually just responded. Y'all just need to open up a case in support or a support case and success community, and they can get that set up on the back end for you.
Okay, yeah, this would actually be super helpful, I think.
Great. So you're already paying for it, so I'm glad. Let's get you up and running.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's a little bit annoying that we've been paying for this and no one knew how to do this.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know this was a thing. I saw this button when the ambient got turned on, but I didn't know what that was.
Didn't know you were paying for it. I am here to tell you, I just recently found a bunch of subscriptions that I was personally paying for, so been there.
Yep.
And also, I just think our informatics team needs to be trained on NextGen Mobile because they don't know anything about this, and they're the ones that support our providers on a day-to-day basis, right? So if they don't know how to do this, how can they teach our providers how to use this?
Yeah, I asked for that, Dr. Kalpis. It looks like there's a cost to that training.
Yeah, but hopefully we can I'll send this recording to you, Kirk, and Dr. Kalpis as well, and hopefully they can look at this recording, and I can also get maybe some pre-recorded demos as well, and hopefully we can do that instead of having to pay for a training.
Yeah, thanks, Peyton. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm
no
always
worries.
happy to help if you guys are, running into issues or whatever. I mean, I'm certainly not a trainer, but I'm always happy to help with any kind of little things like this.
I mean, it's not like we need like some real formal training. I'm not that smart, but I
Right.
figured out how to use NextGen Mobile somehow. So,
I do want to show you one other functionality that you have access to, just to make sure that you're aware of it. I don't know if it's helpful for you and what you're currently doing. But if you're in a patient's chart, are you using any of this capture or scan functionality down here? Have you played with that?
haven't. I do have one provider that has used the photo capture functionality.
I mean, it's for what I do, it's awesome. It's so useful. So, you can easily just click capture, and my phone always takes a second to warm up. I've dropped my camera too many times. Oh, it worked right away this time. But I can take a picture, use photo. You can annotate on it. So you can draw, you can circle, like here's the rash my patient says she has, here's the post-op wound, what have you. You can save it into the patient's chart. You can add a description, you could say 3 centimeter wound, send it, and it real time goes into your patient's chart over here.
I mean, that is pretty cool.
It's really nice. It pulls straight into.
And then what's the scan?
Scan is if your patient brings in a document. So say they went to urgent care and they had an EKG or what have you, and now you need to put it in your chart. They walk in with documentation. You can scan right here on the phone and put it right into the patient's chart. Capture here on my content. Someone at your practice probably has access to what we call Cloud Portal. You can add in your own documentation in here. It's not meant for like filling out big forms or anything like that. But if you're ever doing any procedures or something of the like where you need a consent form, I think this is a really easy way to obtain that documentation. You can come in here, you can sign as a patient, as a provider, what have you. You turn it to the side and you can just sign. It timestamps it. And whenever you save it, it goes straight into the patient's chart. So it's all like no one has to scan anything.
Can you do that from the start again?
For sure. Give me 1 second. I want to refresh this. Okay. If you come down here to this capture, you have my content here. And you may not have anything in there, but someone at your practice should have access to Cloud Portal. Cloud Portal is where you can put in your own like forms or PDFs in here. Again, this is not meant for like filling out like big long forms or anything that would drive you crazy. But if you're just trying to do a procedure or sign something, like a consent to treat is what I have right here. If I come up here to the top, I have a pin. And then you can pick your signature type. So I can come in here and say, this is the patient signing. This is her name. We're in the chart. Turn it to the side. Miss Chelsea Hodges is going to sign it.
So this can't be like something coming from the EHR though, right? Like a consent form. This is just a.
This is really not meant for that kind of thing. This isn't meant for like big, long documentation. This is just more on the fly. Oh, you came in and while you're here, I'm going to do a joint aspiration or what have you. And we can just do this quick little paperwork without having to scan it in.
Gotcha. can you go over what my jobs is in the hub, I guess?
I'm sorry,
The my jobs box in
where
the
are
hub,
you seeing that?
in the hub.
Uh,
Oh, if you go on your filters and then turn on my
oh,
jobs.
so
Yeah, what is
jobs
that?
are the way that I typically utilize jobs is that's like if you're adding in like a phone note or something, like someone's calling you after hours or something of that nature. You can create a job and send it to someone like, hey, patient called after hours. Will you schedule them for an appointment on Monday or what have you?
How's that different than tasks?
It's just different from because you're doing it in mobile, so you're generating that task from mobile, generating that job. So it's like if you're not on the laptop or on the EHR. So if I come,
Okay, and when what's the ready for review tab on that? If you go to those hub settings again.
there are going to be notes that are, it should be notes that are like almost like they, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check on that, but I'm pretty sure it's whenever you're signing off on a note and like if you're NP or PA or whatever, sending it to you to sign off on.
Okay, so we don't have that. So
Let me verify that.
okay, because I've never seen anything show up in there before, so I didn't know I could actually shut that off.
Yeah, I'll verify it. I'll get to Peyton for sure what it is, but that was my understanding of it. But it's been a long time since I've used that. So
Okay, gotcha. So all right, yeah, if we can get this D2D thing, that would actually be helpful, I think, for a lot of providers.
Yeah.
And this is only
perfect.
on Mobile Plus, correct? Or
Correct.
ambient.
Mobile Plus, which y'all already have.
Well, we only have a certain number of licenses for Mobile Plus. Most of our
Right.
I think it's like 6 providers have Mobile Plus, and then the rest just have regular mobile. But
so
at least
Have
DTD
we,
is mobile
hey
plus.
Peyton, it's obviously provider specific. Do you by chance know the users that have it?
So we just sell the licenses. So y'all have 5 licenses, and then y'all would assign it on the back end. But I'm sure support would be able to help you figure out exactly where you can see that.
Very well, thanks.
Anything else I can show you or help you with while you've got me? Trying to think of any other things that are helpful to know.
So just to review the difference between D2D and just the regular dictate is the regular dictate's gonna put it into the master depending on where
So
it
it's
gets
going to
put
put
into
it,
this.
if you dictate here on this
Uh-huh.
screen mobile, it will flow into the master, yes, but it's going to flow into this panel called narrative notes. So it's like a separate template meant just for dictation. So whenever you hit send to EHR, it's going to send it to this section of your SOAP note here, which you guys should have now after doing the trial. So here are all my panels. Instead of it going, to reason for visit or physical exam, it's going to be here in this panel called narrative notes instead.
But then that gets put into the master IM, right?
Correct. So then each section of this, so for example, my HPI, whenever it all maps back on that final master, the narrative notes HPI is going to be combined with that reason for visit. So anything that's here in that template for reason for visit and anything in that HPI is going to marry together in that master document all in one section.
Yeah.
In some of
Okay,
our
yeah, this is
specialties,
helpful.
it's set up a little bit differently where some of our specialty content, that reason for visit, they keep that narrative notes panel underneath it. So they're already separated on that SOAP panel or SOAP template for us. I personally like that view better. So I think it just lessens the confusion, but our primary care and multi-specialty, they tend to stay here all, they have the separate narrative notes panel.
I think I know this answer already, but iOS phones only.
Correct. Yeah. So only iPhones, iPads, only iOS devices. The reason being that we actually used to support Android. And over 95% of our users were actually iOS users. And so we were developing both and putting equal resources into both. And it was slowing us down with all of our updates. And you can imagine how fast the AI landscape is moving right now. And it was slowing us down a lot. Providers were saying, we want this, we want that. And it was just taking too long to roll stuff out. So it's been very well received, except we have a couple of, Android users every now and again who say, wait, but what about us? I will say for those that we've encountered, a lot of times they end up getting like a clinic iPad to use for stuff like this.
And if I don't have the D2D button on my mobile, does that mean my Mobile Plus gets shut off then?
I'm wondering if you just don't have the license for Mobile Plus, if it's like
Yeah.
I mean, I used to, but maybe it got shut off when I get the.
Well, you would have had it with
Yeah.
with the trial for sure, because you have access to all of the dictation functionality when you have Mobile Pro.
Yeah, I did have that button. I recall seeing that button when I had the trial, but I should have Mobile Plus also, unless that got switched off for some reason.
Yeah, maybe just after the trial it got switched off or something, but I believe Kirk's opening up a support ticket, and they'll be able to get that turned back on for you.
Yep, will do.
All
I
right.
mean, I don't necessarily need it. We could give it to a different provider if they're going to use it. But it'd be helpful to at least demo it or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, this is super helpful. I appreciate it.
I'm so happy. If there's anything else that comes up, that I can help with, just let me know. But otherwise, I'll pass it back to you, Peyton. I'll stop sharing my screen here.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Katie. And thank y'all for joining. It takes a quick second to get it all set up, but once I get the recording, I'll send it over to y'all. And I did just send over some pre-recorded demos too of it. So
Yeah, thanks.
yeah.
Appreciate
No
it, Peyton.
problem.
Appreciate it, Katie.
Yeah, no problem at all. Always happy to help. I'm not an IT person. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a billing person, but I'm pretty good at clinical workflow, so I can help you there.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie. And
All
thank
right.
y'all. Let me know if you need
Nice to
anything
meet
else.
y'all.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.